You're with Teddy and Tony on Everyday Conversations, a podcast where two friends get together every week. I'm pretty sure it's every week. And we talk life, we talk love, we talk about things we've been doing. And most of the time, it's something that we hope is entertaining enough for you to listen to. My name is Tony. With me is Teddy. Tricked ya. My name is Teddy. With me is Tony. I was just seeing if you're awake, man. And look, I'm going to hand it over to you just to let us know about your week, because we haven't spoken in, I said a week before, but it's been a couple of weeks. And we're mid-lockdown. What have you been doing?
That's what I was about to say, Tony. Oh, I mean, Teddy, because I thought for a second you'd already forgotten who we are.
No,
who you are.
Absolutely not.
What are we doing here? Like, are we doing role reversal today?
I'm
what's
completely
going on?
sober. I wouldn't forget who I am.
I was going to say, I was a bit dubious when I looked at you, but, you know, you've definitely confirmed that you're not. Oh, no, that you are sober.
I look like crap, but that's not alcohol.
No, that's just the daily grind of life, which is why we're here, to help you get through the grind of life.
It has a gravitational pull on my soul. Just general living.
Correct. Yeah. So even though we're saying we're here for you listeners, we're actually here for Teddy. So today is Support Teddy Day.
Absolutely.
What is it? The 10th of June. So remember that, everybody.
Hey, cheaper than a counsellor, and you ain't charging me. For anyone who hasn't heard this show before, we talk about all sorts of things, but it's broken down loosely into three segments. First section, highlight of the week. Then we talk about something that caught our attention during the week. And thirdly, finally, we talk about something we've seen on the internet. So, look, do you just want to tell us what, first of all, you can set the scene before you get into your highlight. What have you been doing? To anyone who doesn't know, we're just about to go out of a 2-week lockdown.
Another
which has been
lockdown.
Pretty brutal. Yep.
Deja vu.
It's definitely deja vu. And it's not the sort of deja vu that I like, you know? Like, if I eat a piece of cake and another cake comes out, that's the deja vu I like. Lockdown, 2 weeks in a row, not what I'm looking for.
Oh, no, exactly. So it is ironic that, you know what's actually more ironic? The last episode, which just recently went up, I actually stated right at the end, the tip of the week, or my advice was keep things consistent. Do it every week. And then ironically, we didn't meet for 2 weeks. So I thought that was kind of funny. Just thought I'd put it in there. But to your point, this lockdown kind of came out of nowhere. They like to call it circuit breakers, which would indicate like a small circuit. But this is like Daytona 500, where you just gone around 600,000 times. You know, it doesn't actually end. You know,
Sure.
have you ever watched those race car things? Like, when does it end?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know. What sort of race car things are we talking about here?
Like Daytona, you know, in the US, you have those cars and they're just going around in circles in the...
I do.
What?
But I mean, they're
literally
kind of doing
forgot
laps,
the name.
yeah? They're doing laps.
Yeah,
But it's the same with
I mean.
F1 or something. I mean, they're going around until the last lap. So I guess it's kind of like that, yeah?
Yeah, except I feel like F1 has a little bit more difficulty because they're not just going in an oval shape.
There's some variety,
Like,
right? Gotcha.
You got to brake. You're going at like 320 kilometers. You got like so many more cars.
Yeah.
And the F1 cars are a lot more sophisticated.
Oh, there's some good story in the F1 as well. The whole Netflix series is pretty.
I need to
damn
watch
cool.
that. You've linked that to me before.
You got to check it out, man. You got to check it out.
Yeah. So with this lockdown, I was visiting my family, and then I figured, well, if we're in a week lockdown, I may as well just stay there because I thought, you know, there's no point being. I was like, there's no point Tony being alone in his apartment for 1 week.
That's something.
You know,
if that happened for more than half a day, I'd probably call the police and I'd be like, something's happened to Tony up there. Get someone up there.
This is what I mean.
It's not safe.
It's just not safe. So you know, and then somehow it changed to 2 weeks. So I'm like, well, I guess I made the right decision.
Hold on, is this? I've missed the news, but didn't we just do 1 week and now we're doing another week? I'm confused.
Yeah, this is my point. Daytona 5000, you know, circuit breaker 3.0 or whatever. I don't know. I don't even know how you can call it a circuit breaker when it's not breaking anything except our lives
coming up.
And our will to live.
Yeah, and you know, our futures and superannuation balances and all that good stuff.
I feel for the hospitality and the retail workers because they actually weren't working, didn't have an income, and there's no JobKeeper.
No.
So they literally had nothing, and all the government was like, well, too bad.
Absolutely. I mean, instantly, look, I don't think they're sitting on sort of, you know, massive amounts of cash. Not a lot of them wouldn't be. I mean, I've been in that position before. You're going week to week. You're going week to week. And if you're not living at home, you're in trouble. If you're paying rent and you're out of home, you're going week to week. And as soon as that tap gets turned off, boom. There's no one giving out money to you.
That's what I mean. Like, it's not with the time. So definitely felt for them. So I guess one highlight kind of was actually spending literally 2 and almost 3 weeks of quality time with the family, because everyone was home as a result of no one going to the offices again. And we have our puppy. I think he's a puppy now, still a year old. So he's been great. So I've been hanging around with puppy. Taking him outside, cleaning up after him, which at first is a little bit
nuggets.
And then you get used to it. Then you're like, you know what? Well, as long as it ain't squishy, it's good.
Yeah, you know what?
And
I'm actually looking forward to that warm thing in my hand. Let's go walk
on
the dog.
Cold, especially on the cold days that we've been having. It's the one highlight of the day.
We should have warned people, if you're about to eat dinner, you might want to postpone that. Go on.
But if you're cooking, please continue.
Absolutely. Let the aromas flow through, just like the warmth flows through Tony's warm, cold hands.
Correct. And it's anyway. So, hanging out with the puppy, hanging out with the family. It's kind of good. Obviously, you get the homemade, home cooked meals. Everything's like kind of done. It's just great, and obviously helping out. So that was
Don't
really
even have
nice.
to wash yourself. They're holding you up like a little baby again. They're like, all right, just wash under his arms, and all right, we won't go there. But yeah, keep going.
I was gonna say I do fit in the laundry sink, so it's perfect.
That's because your family washes clothes in the swimming pool.
Yeah, correct. Because we have a massive swimming pool. In fact, we don't even do it. We use the neighbors behind swimming pool. We sneak over.
That was funnier in my head.
6 a.m.
Because you fit in, it's the pool. Of course you fit in it. Anyways, go on.
I mean, you would hope so. You would hope you have a pool. I think to classify the definition of a pool, one of us would be fitting into it.
But now I can imagine you though with a little baby's bonnet, a little dummy just stuffed into like the laundry, the laundry sink. Your just legs hanging out and getting scrubbed like a baby. That's sick. That is really sick, ladies and gentlemen. I regret that.
I was maybe for washing, but I ain't into that from any other point of view.
Absolutely not. Purely for hygiene reasons. But I look.
But hey, if someone likes dressing up like that, due respect.
I'm all for
makes
it.
You happy.
Try not to splash too much water around, and if you do, just make sure it doesn't damage the tiles or the walls.
And just keep it to the nappy. That's what I'd say.
Or in the nappy. Keep it in the nappy.
Keep it in the nappy. Yes.
Exactly.
So that was good, spending time there and like literally quality time, because not only do I enjoy it, but having that, and it's pretty much just, nothing else to do, and it's chill. And then the second thing was, free stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yes. I also, a small little kind of accomplishment was I was just doing a diploma or something, which I won't stipulate what it was, but I passed. So I got the certificate.
Sounds very, very suspicious. But go on.
It's a legal diploma, obviously.
Yeah.
From a reputed institution.
Yeah. As long as it's like not a diploma of backyard euthanasia or something like that, then we're all good.
Backyard of pharmaceutical developments, soil testing.
That's good.
Yeah. So it was good to pass this and get the actual certificate, and I was a little bit under stress. I don't know the last time you've had to like kind of prepare for like an interview type assessment situation, and it was like a 3-hour interview.
Oh wow!
And there was like these questions I had to prepare in advance, and I mean, like I said, man, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Very important diploma, because there's a lot of responsibility attached to it.
Yeah.
So so past that, so that was good. That was kind of all happening whilst I was there at my parents. So that were probably my highlights. It's good to pass something, feels good.
Absolutely. Failing is not a good feeling. It's unfortunately a feeling I know very well. But look, congratulations. It's needed. It's needed because...
to grow and develop.
Yeah. Look, sometimes you've got to know where the bottom is so that you can realise you're at the top. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I read that on a Hallmark.
Well, once you know the bottom, the only way is up. And then at least you know what the bottom is.
Absolutely,
so it's kind of like light at the end of the tunnel.
100%. Just like we got light at the end of the tunnel with the restrictions easing tomorrow. But look, my highlight of the week...
3 hours. Less than 3 hours.
3 hours. This is like waiting for Christmas for baby Jesus to be born.
12. I wonder if a bar's going to open at 12.
That is a really good thought. That is a really good thought. And if anyone was going to do it, it's going to be Crown. Do you reckon there's going to be people waiting at the front like little gremlins with their credit cards all popped up, good to go?
It'd be like Black Friday. Everyone just like clawing at the
yeah.
doors. Let us
Yeah.
in and give
Yeah.
us the beer.
And then they just dive for that button. You know, do you pull down the pokies button and it's like a lever?
Oh yeah,
And they
yeah,
just dive on it two hands, like, yeah, just to rip it down. Ding, 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 ding. Just money starts pouring out. It'd be great.
The irony is that most places only have a liquor license till 1 or 12 anyway. So I highly doubt, especially in this area that I'm in, everyone goes to sleep in like an hour.
True. Well, everyone's going to be back to their usual selves soon. So, look,
Kinda.
The on button is not as effective as it has been in the past. This time, the on button's not going to work well for a lot of people, unfortunately.
Correct.
But look, personally, I haven't been too impacted. Salary, get a salary, so I'm very fortunate. But it reminded me, this lockdown, even though it's been 2 weeks, it reminded me a lot of the previous lockdowns.
Yeah.
And I would start. I never paid enough attention to how much I focused on my Friday night meals and what I was going to do at the end of the week. How much that took up my whole week. So it'd get to Monday morning, kick in. I'm already thinking about what I'm going to have as like my meal to treat me at the end of the week, because that's it. That's what you've got to look forward to. So that's something I've noticed. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Especially because you're like, it's what gets you through the week almost too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is the light. That is the light.
You're not seeing any
created this
people.
light.
There's nothing to break up the day. You're just working at your desk usually until really late too, by the way. And look, I'm not doing anything too crazy on the weeknights. I mean, you really shouldn't be, just with all the restrictions. And I'm not creative enough to have fun outside of the TV. MasterChef's been getting a bit of a workout, which is good. But highlight of the week would be last week, looking forward to pizza, thinking about it all week. Got to the Friday night, had to put in a booking to go pick up this pizza. It's a good pizza. It's
So
from
you
a place
pre-ordered it, and then you had to...
You've got to pre-order it. You can't just call up. So if you miss the windows... So anyways, we called up at about 6 o'clock, and the next window was 8:45. So 8:45, we rock up at this window. It's a place called Capitano in Carlton. Very good. They do a good deep...
I've heard great things about it.
Awesome. Good. They do a good deep dish pizza. Running down the sides is crusted cheese. So when you're biting into it, it's like brittle. It's just, the whole thing's just delicious. It's deep, it's thick.
Yep.
But you've got to place the order, and then anyway, everyone rocks up. They're all waiting around, and they start calling out orders. And I'm thinking, I've not seen a setup like this before. Usually it's order to go. This is that you've got to fit in with their time slots. So anyways, that was last Friday, highlight of the week. And funnily enough, I've been thinking about pizza again this week. I want to go old school. Tomorrow night, I'm going to go like a deep pan, traditional. I'm going to get something with a bit of Hawaiian on it, controversial. But that's my highlight of the week, just stretching out, lockdown, and waiting for pizzas.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is, whatever it is you look forward to, at least it's something.
I know,
You know?
It is something. I have another highlight too.
Yeah, I was going to say as well, lockdown just keeps things very simple.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I'm looking forward to pizza on a Friday night. And I'm not going to put a McCain's pizza into the oven and let that do the job. That's just not good.
Again.
But I've got another highlight that I reckon you could relate to. Do you ever look forward to the new JB-Hifi catalogue coming out on a Thursday?
Well, I get what you mean, but I don't get the catalogue.
No, it's online. It's online.
Oh, right.
But,
I get the emails saying, oh, there's just some crazy thing going on.
Gotcha.
But
I'm still looking for that Dyson fan. Do you remember the one that I spoke to you about 6 months ago?
Oh, it's not the air purifier, a fan.
That one. Yeah, that one.
The one last time you went to get you got the fryer instead.
Well, I got the air fryer. There's a couple little rusted bits on it though. Very disappointed in that because everything else about it is good. The color is good. It's going really well. How was it?
Because you were given a whirl after the last.
Yeah, exactly. So feedback, cooks really good, does a great job, but it's got a few little chips inside, which I'm pretty sure has just come off in the dishwasher. Not cool, man. Not cool at all. And the other thing is it's been so long that I've been looking at that air purifier fan. It's actually gone down in price. And a new model's out.
It's what happens when
a new model's out. So now I'm like, oh, is that going to go on special? It's going to be summer before I know it. And I'm not even going to have purchased it. But adding to the list, there's a few other things I'm keeping an eye on. Categories, steam irons. There's one iron I'm waiting to go on sale. And I've watched it go on sale at Myer. I've watched it go on sale at JB-Hi-Fi. And there's also some wireless earbuds that I'm looking at as well. These are the categories that I constantly Jabra 75T actives they are. But I've been reading some issues. They got issues with connectivity. So once you start looking at the comparisons, you realize that these earbuds get broken down in about 12 different categories, from connectivity to sound to phone calls to all this stuff. And then you're just like, I'm even more confused. Once you break it down that granular, I'm even more confused as to which ones to go for. Anyways, highlight of the week, JB-Hifi catalog and pizza.
I mean, that's great. I was going to say with the AirPod, not AirPods, because that's what the Apple ones are.
Yeah.
You just got to look at what category is important to you and just focus on that.
True. They're all important. I want it to be 10 out of 10 user rating. And that's why I'm probably in 12 months' time, I will not have purchased anything.
I was going to say, man, you may as well just use these big headphones like we're using now. Just don't even worry about them. Just use loudspeaker on the phone.
These I did a lot of research. These cost like $400. Sony's. No regrets.
Yeah, you bought them at one of the recordings. I remember.
Absolutely. No regrets on these, but look, I can't really, they're big. They're big. They do the job, and I wouldn't recommend spending that money on headphones all the time out there, people. I mean, I'm not made of money over here. That's not what Teddy's trying to tell you. But when he invests, he wants to put his money into quality. Technically, it's not an investment because it's a depreciating asset, but it's allowing me and you to do the show together, which I think is an investment.
It is an investment because we're investing in ourselves and everyone else's lives, and hopefully it's something that makes everyone better. It's a positive
100%. So
positive impact.
Look, I don't think we're being a negative impact, but positive is a stretch. Moving on to the second and middle segment of the show. Was there something that caught your attention this week?
Yeah, a couple of things. I'll start with the more recent one. Everyone would have heard about the news of the fact that during our lockdown that we've just literally spent the last 15 minutes talking about, and given how strict it was, that somehow 2 people managed to evade this lockdown by driving across the border in New South Wales, driving across all of New South Wales, and then into Queensland.
Yeah.
Like literally across the border somehow. I don't know how.
Yeah. It's like a joke. It's like a joke.
It's like a movie.
Yeah,
it is.
Like,
first of all, at what point do you go, hey, we're in a lockdown, strict lockdown. This is all for the greater good to, nail down the elimination strategy and all that. But hey, let's just drive through New South Wales, which obviously, and everyone knows about the state wars going on where everyone's like shutting borders to each other.
Oh yeah, yeah. So there's evading. There's evading police going on here and all sorts of stuff.
It's like GTA, like in real life. But the best part is that somehow they managed to go all the way up into New South Wales and then all through New South Wales into Queensland. I don't even know how many kilometers that is, but my understanding is it takes 20-something hours to drive from here to the Queensland border.
So this is like on the run kind of stuff.
Get through there, and then basically then finds out that one of them was positive, and we don't know when they're positive.
The ultimate.
And along the way, they've visited so many places, and now apparently Queensland has now 2 cases as a result. Yeah. In addition to that one, and I'm just like, I thought that was amazing because first of all, where do you get the audacity? Secondly, how do you know where to go to cross the borders? Like, I know you can't. It's probably like the Mexican-American border. Like, there's probably places you can go.
Oh, do you mean and evade? Cross the border
and evade, because obviously they went where there was no patrol. So like, did they go on a swamp? Do they have like one of those what are those cars that go on the
a jeep,
the rivers and the land? There's a word for it.
I don't know.
Yes,
I didn't realize that had a name.
It's like got that floatable rubber thing underneath, and they can go across. You know what I'm talking about?
I've never seen. I think I've seen this, but it was in a James Bond movie. Remember when he comes out from under the water?
It's a real thing. It's hovercraft.
And that goes on land too.
That's land and water. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to check that out after the show. That sounds like something from the future.
I'm not crazy. I got tested. All right. It's a legit thing. All right. It's a hovercraft.
I'll take your word for it.
I'm pretty sure it's a hovercraft.
I'm gonna have to take it offline for the poor listeners over here. Look, everyone Google this hovercraft thing. It's got wheels and it's a boat too. Come back to us.
Yeah, it's a boat, and it has this rubber thing that allows it to go onto land. Anyway, so I mean, I don't think they had that, but I'm trying to wonder, how do you evade? Like, do you go through the forest? Do you get like told this secret path? Is it a smuggling path? Perhaps they got through. Like, we don't know.
Could be.
So
do we know why do we know why they did it?
Because they didn't believe in lockdowns.
Is that what? Look, there's something more to it. You don't drive 2 states away because you don't believe in lockdowns.
No, that's literally it. They must have some house or family or something in Queensland, and they thought, you know what, let's just evade it and go that way.
Crazy. Okay.
So that caught my attention because I thought that's pretty crazy, especially given we're all like, I mean, at least we're enjoying stuff. You're enjoying pizza. I got the fam. Yeah, it's all good. But anyway, so that was one thing, and then another thing was like with like chemicals in the body, right? Everyone talks about certain little things like what are the happiness chemicals, right? So people know it's like dopamine, endorphin, serotonin, and oxytocin, right? They're the 4 kind of categories. But something I was just reading, like a really quick snapshot, what I thought was interesting is the way to basically release these chemicals inside you are actually very easy, and much easier than what people realize. So, for example,
does it come in tablet form?
No, that's the thing. Not even tablets. We're all used to tablets and supplements and other dubious items that we can't speak of.
Yeah.
So, like dopamine, right, which is the reward chemical. So, literally things like eating food, achieving a goal, getting enough sleep, and having a bath can actually release that reward chemical, which explains why when you eat it, you just feel good inside, right?
Yeah. Technically, that's ingesting food, though.
Yes, but it releases the chemical afterwards while you're eating it. While you're actually eating it, you feel good.
All right.
It's probably something so primal, though, because we're always eating food, right? But think about when you're like starving and you take a bite and you just like, because your base has probably got so low.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this stuff we already do. We obviously have a bath. We obviously get enough sleep. We're achieving goals is generally probably the thing that makes it different for us.
Pushing it, but yeah. I mean, I made it on here tonight, didn't I? So yeah, technically that's a goal.
Well, that is pushing it. That's a very low benchmark. But
woke up, tick.
Got out of bed.
Yeah.
Ate some food. No. So endorphins, we all know, exercising, laughing. So, have you ever heard of like that laughter thing where you literally force yourself to laugh and it actually helps you?
Yeah. It was a reference to an episode of The Office, UK version. But that's neither here nor there.
Listening to music, which definitely I can attest to.
Yeah.
So oxytocin, which is the love hormone. Socializing, physical touch, petting animals. And I tested this during the last 2 weeks. Like
hugging
the last
people as well, is that in there?
Hugging people, helping others. Well, that's physical touch, right? But helping others, which is also once again an intrinsic thing, releases that. But the petting animal was interesting because I was petting, his name's Ezio, every day.
Yeah.
Like half the day. And it really does make a big difference. Like you don't realize it, but it actually makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And serotonin, which is, known as the mood stabilizer. So sun, going out in the sun.
Yes.
Mindfulness and nature walks.
Love it.
So
that's cool.
I thought it was interesting that, like, even though, yes, it's very simple and there's a lot more science behind it, but it's a very nice kind of simple way to see how you can address a little bit of each happiness chemical, not just like one, which people tend to talk about endorphins.
Yeah, they do. They do. No, that's
the other
real
two
cool.
just important. So yeah, that's
cool.
what got my attention this week.
I love it. Now I've heard a few bits and pieces, not all of that, but the patting an animal. Have you seen the TV series on Netflix, Shadow and Bone?
No, I saw the
Shadow
trailer.
and Bone? I'm thinking it's Shadow and Bone. Yeah,
it is Shadow and Bone. Yeah.
So
is it good?
They've got to cross this like dark void, and there's all these like spirits and stuff that are in there. But there's one guy, I think he's called like the controller or the conductor. He knows how to get him across, and he's like, "All right, we're gonna go on my ship, but you need to bring me 20 kilos of this like magical coal, some other ingredients, and a goat." And you don't realize, and a goat. So they get to the point, and he's like, "Look, I'm attached to the goat, and I don't know if I can kill the goat." He's like, "That goat's the goat's not to kill. That's for you to hug it because it gets so scary traveling through this thing." And then when they're going through and it like there's ghosts screaming at the boat, the guy's just like holding the goat, cold cuddled up. It's his little safety thing. I thought that was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. But after hearing your story, that sounds like it could be true.
I mean, yeah, you're petting.
I don't know why the goat. I don't know why the goat, but it's I guess because they're just helpless and they just sit there. But
maybe also in case you get hungry, you can eat it.
Well, look, they didn't allude to that. It was more just the cuddliness of it.
The dopamine aspect too. So you can cover all bases.
You can definitely cover all bases. Anything else caught your attention this week?
No, it was just those two things.
I'm sure other things did, but nothing noteworthy by the sounds of it. You come up with some other ones.
It's a bit hard when you're it's a bit hard when you're in a lockdown and don't really leave the house.
True. And you already used up the good stuff like getting bathed by your parents in the washing machine or whatever it was. Anyways, I was in
Caught my
Woolies tonight.
attention. That's a daily habit, man. That's not a surprise.
Yeah. Well, that's what got you here. All right. Simple. There's a sign in Woolies. So Woolies, usually you got visual merchandisers going through these places and putting a pretty keen eye to detail and setting everything up right. Everything in Woolies is set out pretty good, but against the wall, they've got all these slabs of cans of Coke plus shapes just put up against the wall. And then they've got some signage that it looks like someone got their kid to do this. So it's the letters, it's the wording, Big Night Out. Big is basically one letter per A4 sheet. So B takes up the whole sheet, just in a simple like Arial font in capitals kind of thing, printed off on Microsoft Word. And big night is in green and in is in red. And I'll show it to you on just how pathetic it is. Can you see that artwork there?
Why is there such random gaps between the letters?
I don't know, but it's big night in. I'm thinking, who's done that? It's like some stoner's done it, thinking that's a good idea. It's just terrible. So that's what I.
What was underneath, like tissues and cream?
So no, close. Okay. It was slabs of Coke Zero in cans and boxes of shapes. I think you've got barbecue, and some new flavors. You know, there's all these new varieties coming up.
Maybe when I was 12, that might be my big night in.
Well, look, even if it was
in 2000 and whatever it was.
Yeah, look, but you're better than that, Woolies. Oh, and I've just noticed to the left of the Cokes, check that out. Little dustpan and broom hanging up against the wall there. What's going on at this Woolies, man?
I know why that's there, right? It's because what's going to happen is because of that fantastic signage, they're expecting an overflow of customers to charge in to get the Coke. Yeah. So the person who's going to get there is going to get that little brush to whack people out of the way to control it.
That's actually really good. You should write a book, man, on creative kids stories, because that was some traumatizing stuff right there. But look, the other thing that I noticed that caught my attention, I love a good pair of New Balance. All right. Bought these New Balances from a New Balance store in Collingwood probably about 2 months ago. And look,
I remember that. That was the ice cream day.
Yeah. Exactly. Got 2 pairs that day. This pair, especially now walking at night, it's very quiet. It's very noticeable. It's got this click in the shoe. I'm walking along. Click. It's a click. It's like in the sole of the shoe somewhere. It's weird. And I can feel it very slightly. It's not painful to touch, but it's there. And I'm just thinking, damn it, I don't want anything wrong with my stuff that I got to go back into the store, explain it to them. Hopefully they got my same pair there. Yeah. So I'm just thinking, what is causing this? It's weird. So when I walk, click, click, it's bizarre. It's not even that loud. I've oversold how loud it is, but it is perceptible when there is no other noise. And that's something that caught my attention this week. 2 of those things. That sign at Woolies, you're better than that, Woolies. You're better than that.
You should walk on hardwood or wood floor. Would it be even worse?
Probably, because then you'd have the impact of the wood as well. I don't know. Good question. Hopefully by the time I think about trying that, I've returned them and gotten either my money back or the shoes swapped over. But if we get some wooden floors, me and you together, let's stamp it out.
That sounds like a great Friday night. Maybe we can eat pizza while we're doing that.
Yeah, man. Let's do the push, baby. All right.
Wait, just before that sign reminded me, actually, there was something else that took me interest today. I was going on a walk and went to this reserve field, and they had this pavilion type thing, right? Like a normal pavilion, you know? But then as you walk past, there's this random door that's kind of 2 meters in, and on the door was a piece of paper that said something I think it was in the worst literal handwriting you could ever imagine, a kid wrote it. Monash first team club room or something, right? And it was done in this really dodgy format, and then it was taped with that sport tape, ankle tape you put. So someone had taped it there, and I was like, I feel like this is the beginning of Taken 4 or something, Australian version. It was so dodgy, and it's how did you get kidnapped? Oh, I went into this totally legitimate room that someone had just put up. It was ridiculous. It was when you're in Thailand or something, and it's like, oh, here's a legitimate club just over here, and it's follow us down this alleyway. It was kind of like that. They're the vibes it gave me.
I remember there was this meme going around a while ago, and it's like a drain. It's like the side of a drain, and the cage has been pulled off, and it just says it's a sign. So think about like a pipe that goes vertical into the wall, something you'd see like in America, right? And there's a big drain there, and then there's a big sign next to it that says "free candy in here." I'm just like, I remember seeing that it was a meme, and I'm just thinking, that's funny. Like, clearly nothing good is coming out of that drain. But yeah,
No fruit or candy, yeah.
absolutely not. Oh, adding to the highlights, last weekend, running out of look, for whatever reason, when it gets to a Saturday night, I just want some super brainless movies I've never watched before, so I end up just rewatching older stuff. Chucked on Old School last Saturday night, and American Pie. Pie too.
Classics.
both classics, man.
I have to rewatch American Pie too. I watched American Pie just the other month.
Yeah. I haven't seen American Pie the sequel, just seen number 1, but it is amazing. I mean, that is just a classic for any teen growing up.
It's
sort of
pinnacle for teenagers,
in the
especially
90s,
back then.
2000, early 2000s. That's it's a classic. It's an absolute classic. But yeah,
I mean,
look, that wraps up my week.
Old school still stands. The test.
Fill it up again. Frank the Tank. It's line after line. You don't realize. I mean, you probably do realize, but you rewatch it and you're like, "That's a classic line. That's a classic line." We're going streaking into the gymnasium. Honey, is KFC still open? I mean, they're all out. They're all out there, man.
See, the thing is, though, when you rewatch it, you appreciate it so much more because in between the watches, you watch like current movies, and they're just sometimes just not the same.
Agree.
They're just not as impactful, or just I don't know. There's just something about it. Like a lot of things seem so forced.
Yeah.
Because these kind of movies pave the way. Like Old School is it's a legendary movie.
Oh, ultimate. On that note, let's talk about the internet. So last segment of the show, you seen anything online? I know we've both been spending a lot of time on the internet this week.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's the thing. We've spent quite a lot. It was kind of hard to go, what's kind of interesting that I saw. I mean, I saw lots of things interesting, but there's a few. So do stand by me, but I'll go through them relatively quickly. Take your time. Oh, true.
Just me and you time. Me and you time. Teddy and Tony. Everyday conversations, internet for
and everyone else listening. You're listening to two mates just having a conversation.
True.
So there was this really good video of like, so I saw the video before I saw what the actual context was, and it was just like a bunch of police officers like clapping and singing happy birthday. And then there was a guy who was like in front of them, next to the cake, and he was like looking really depressed, and his hands were like in his head. And I'm like, well, this is just really weird. Like, what's with this? And then it turns out that it's in Brazil, and the police that was behind them were celebrating this guy who's turning 18 because then they could legally arrest him.
Wow. Okay.
That's why because he obviously, whatever ruling it was, they couldn't arrest him legally for whatever reason. I don't know what the actual crime was. So yeah, they waited till his 18th and then boom, said happy birthday. And then obviously I didn't see what happened afterwards, but I thought that was actually quite interesting.
That is interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff that goes on in Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, that's just touching the surface, really. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Don't even get started on the crime over there or what's going on with the prime minister, president, El Presidente. For those that speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Portuguese, actually, over there. Not
it's
Spanish.
Bolsonaro, yeah?
Yeah, the guy who apparently...
The Donald Trump of South America?
Yeah, he really doesn't care about anything except himself. Isn't he the one that, like, is happy to knock down the Amazon forest? That's that guy, right? He's like,
he's all the bad stuff that you associate over there. It's probably him. Yeah.
It's funny, right? People talk about Trump and stuff, but then you got guys like this, and you got other guys like, around the world that are literally probably worse, to be honest.
Oh, heaps, but they're not sort of, in the top two economies of the world. So running those countries. So, but yeah. No, you're right. And not just the economies wise, but supposed to be leading the way in democracy and setting the standards. So, they're kind of allowed to be a bit worse. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. So, and then another one, which was more of a feel-good little clip, was, whenever you see like a really, really awesome car like around and you kind of looking like, do I take a photo of it or sometimes you see people standing in front of it so people take a photo and make sure that, and hope that the owner doesn't find you or whatever.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
to be honest,
this car, drop my keys. Yeah.
yeah. So, like if, like with them, like if it's a Lamborghini or Ferrari, let's just say, a lot of them have the negative connotations or perception that the owner's probably, a little bit pretentious or kind of like a bit more of a douche. Well, whatever it is, but like, the type you don't really want to be interacting with. So this video, someone had filmed from this apartment building where there was this really, really sick McLaren, probably a $1 million car, McLaren F1. And then basically what it was is that the owner had walked seeing a delivery worker just like want to take pictures of the car. And then the owner kind of walks in, sees that. And then rather than what you'd expect of like, how dare, get away from my car, whatever it was, I don't know what country this was in. The owner actually asked the delivery worker, hey, do you want me to take photos of you sitting in the car? And the delivery was like, yeah, sure. So then basically you see the owner taking photos of the delivery worker sitting in his car.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
And I was like, that just feels good. Like, how good is that? Like, if you're that delivery worker, I mean, every time I've seen a McLaren, I've seen a few around here lately, I'd love to be sitting in the front and someone taking a photo of me, But who's going to do that? And you're never going to ask.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
No. I mean...
So he actually asked him.
I know, that's sweet. Imagine if he's just like, hey, do you want to take it for a spin? It's like, I would take it for the night.
How just take it? It's stolen anyway, so just take it. If the cops come after you, don't know me, you never met me.
The ultimate plan.
Yeah. So like, and I thought it was good because it was kind of sweet because the owner was like, he took one and then he kind of shifted the angle a bit and took a couple more. So I was like, it was good. Like it was good. So I like that. That was a good video.
He worked it. he worked it. Yeah.
He worked it. It's like, smile for me. Be a tiger. No.
Yeah. That's gold.
And then and then the delivery worker's probably like, I don't want these photos anymore, man.
He's like, all right, you're making it weird now. Can you delete those? All right, I was never here. Your car's great, but we don't need this no more.
Yeah. Hey, I'm starting OnlyFans now. Come on, let's go for it. Anyway,
100%.
Then another one was so getting back to class, right? I don't know what we talked about schooling a little bit, but let's say whenever I was in school, everyone was very competitive, So like you'd always trying to be beating the other person.
Oh yeah. Should have seen my legal studies class in year 12, man. Brutal. There were kids that nearly failed the year before. They were competitive in that class. Did nothing else in every other class, just that class.
Yeah, it's just like law. You can literally argue and try and win. Like it's one of those rare try-based subjects. So in this class, I think they're like 6 or 7. I think they're in maths class. And I won't label the country, but it was somewhere in Asia. And basically the teacher's like listing the marks, like saying, blah, blah, blah. I guess this one kid. And then it's like, it says it in whatever the language is, it's like 100%. And then literally they say 100%. Every kid started like cheering, clapping. Then the kid himself who got 100s at the back. So he like shows the camera on him. He's like jumping up in joy and he's like walking down in between the things and he's like high-fiving people. And I was like, this like he's won an award. I thought it was great. But it was kind of funny because I thought, that's never happened to me.
No.
Usually if you got 100, everyone's like, stuff you. I should have got 100.
Yeah,
you don't
we're
deserve
totally
it.
going to beat that kid up.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. Like to see that, especially maybe they're too young to realize that they're each other's competition. I don't know, but I do remember one time in French, I got the highest score, and there were so many salty kids that literally just couldn't get over it.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I'm like, if only that existed when I was.
It depends. It depends on the environment, and level of competition. Like, have you ever watched an episode of MasterChef or the series?
I've watched MasterChef,
yeah.
Everyone's very happy and collaborative, though, and supportive.
Exactly. But they're all competing against each other, obviously. But they're all, like, kind of wanting each other to do well, but secretly, you want to beat them.
It's like respect. It's like samurais, and it's like UFC or stuff. Like, usually you respect your opponent even though you're literally beating them down.
Respect thy opponent, but beat the howls out of them. Yes, I agree. But school depends on the situation. It depends on who the teacher is and the vibe they're getting going in.
I think it's very reflective of teacher, your environment, and your parents.
Absolutely, 100%. And so wherever those kids are from, as in your school, the parents are evil, but your parents were cool. I'm just putting that out there because they're scrubbing you in a bathtub. That's the main part. What else did you see on the internet?
I'm pretty sure they ended up. Actually, I can't say that. Yeah, they did well. Good on them. They did good. And the last thing I saw, which I thought was hilarious, was it was a video of like a store, I think like a diner, right? So I think it's America, and basically, the chef or the guy who's running it is just standing there, and then a guy with this balaclava, massive hoodie, and a backpack and a gun walks in, and is like pointing it at the owner to be like, open the cashier. But then the owner kind of just like doesn't even look at him, and he's just kind of like literally not even looking at him. And then he's kind of like sees that, turns around, he's like making something, and then he puts it in a paper bag, holds it out like this, and then a customer who'd ordered the food walks in and collects the bag whilst the robber is still there pointing the gun at this guy. And he's just completely ignored that armed robber to help the customer. And I'm like, man, like the customer themselves, like I can't say that actually on the show, but the audacity to basically go, you know what? There's an armed robber who's trying to hold up this owner, but I need my food. I'm going to go in and collect it.
Yeah.
And the owner's like, has literally completely dismissed this robber. And then the armed robber's probably just like, what do I do? This is not what they're
whoever knew that was the strategy. Like
I said, it's literally one of those things. If you don't look or close your eyes, it goes away, right?
Yeah.
Literally.
He's like, no, you be scared. He's like, what? I don't. Did you hear something?
I can't. Is that the wind? Or,
yeah.
Oh, I left the radio on.
Hilarious.
So I thought that was like I don't know if you and I couldn't do that. If someone's pointing a gun at me, like, what do? Just look away?
Yeah.
Like,
I'd do it, but then I'd be like dripping sweat down my forehead and being like, yeah, is anyone here? No, I'm not sweating. I'd just give them whatever they needed. It's how I've been trained. It's how I've been raised.
That's why they say if someone's going to rob you, just give them the stuff.
And if they've got a gun, you charge them. I think I saw that on the movie. I definitely wouldn't be charging anyone. But look.
That's what I saw.
That's good. I saw a couple of things. Now, these things pop up in regular time, but turns out they're from a few years ago. Golden possum in Bandura. Looks like a Pikachu. Have you seen this?
Never heard of it.
A few years ago, but I just saw it recently. They came across this little golden possum that looks like a Pikachu, adorable as all hell, but they had to get him out of the wild because I think they made him a target for other animals and prey. You had to have seen the photo, but he's adorable and cute. That's just something I saw, and I was hoping you'd seen it because just telling the story doesn't really sound that good. But saw another thing.
I'll have a look.
It's okay. It's okay. Anyways, I saw another thing. Cameraman. So there's an athletics track. People running around the track. And
I think I know what you're about to say. I think I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, and the commentator's going in Italian. And the cameraman's, next thing you know, the cameraman's running alongside next to him. faster.
He's running faster, to get up to the...
Then the Italian guy's just like, can you see this guy? Like, and just in Italian, but you can tell he's saying some stuff like that. And then the cameraman takes off.
Like that.
Cameraman takes off, wins the race, and the crowd goes wild. Anyways, I saw that and I'm like, this can't be real because Mrs. sent it to me and she's like, oh, wow, have you seen this? And I looked it up. Turns out it's a Gatorade commercial. I was just like, I was gutted.
What?
The cameraman. The cameraman
running
fast
really?
in the athlete. Yes.
I thought it was legit.
Have I rocked your world? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But yeah.
Everyone was making a joke like, he's the one that should have... It was like a joke about... You know how like they say praise the cameraman? Like, when you see Bear Grylls and you see people do crazy stuff? Like, the cameraman's doing it too.
Yeah.
No, he never gets recognition for it.
Nah.
They were referring to that.
Yeah, exactly. And just to end on a note that's going to sort of involve both of us, something else I saw on the internet, drug deal gone wrong, the big sting, the police in Australia, FBI, the encrypted... Oh, yeah,
that was amazing. I was...
All kinds of epic. Now that is movie stuff. That stuff.
But that was like literally. I could talk for 45 minutes on that.
Well, I was going to say you've got 30 seconds to give the listeners a rundown of what happened, and then we can chat about it just for a little bit.
So really quick long story short, there was an app that's for encryption that was created in the US. Basically, it got in the hands of the masterminds that controlled the drug supply and all the criminal activity around the world, because everything was encrypted, which means that no one could see it. And then basically it spread to like 17,000 people around the world criminals were using it. Turns out all along it was created by the FBI and it was used as a honeypot over 2 or 3 years, I can't remember, to capture everything. And then they decided to move in and arrested a ridiculous amount of people in America and in Australia. 220 people got arrested. I think $1.3 billion worth of drugs or something was taken. And yeah, that's pretty much short story short. Long story short.
That's pretty good. And there's just going to be arrests for like years to come. This is just going to go on forever.
They've got a lot of people. A lot of people.
It's like a never-ending pack of Tim Tams. They've just like, look, we've got arrests sorted. But think about the patience. They had to wait 3 years for that. So they've known for they've been investigating for 3 years.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if like it was a joint thing, it's called Ironside, which is a pretty cool name, I must say.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, by the way, who names these things? Like,
don't tell me
some
it was
of the names
ScoMo.
Some of the names are pretty baller. Nah, ScoMo would call it like, I don't know, Operation Mastermind.
Yeah, or like Operation Hillsong or something like that.
Operation Resurrection.
Could be. He's a very.
I don't know. I don't know anything about Hillsong
stuff. Anyways, 3 years Imagine selling your superiors on that. It's like, look, we can't go in now. I don't know. Look, I'm assuming real life is kind of like the movies to an extent. When they're kind of like, look, we need this bus now. I can't hold off anymore. I got to deliver.
The Wire, right? The Wire, yeah.
Yes. And look, The Wire.
That's exactly what I thought. Like, because we learned from The Wire, which was based on like kind of reality stuff, that they always want to do the small bus for the small wins to show that they're actually doing something.
Yeah, because it's all political. Yeah, all that sort of stuff.
Managing up.
Check out The Wire if you guys have not seen it. It is amazing.
Number
awesome
two show.
Argued as the best show of all time, rivaling Sopranos, which is a pretty contentious
Sopranos
point.
number one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm all about The Wire, but look, that's a discussion for another time. But look, 3 years in the making, and there's going to be arrests for years to come. They've cleaned up the streets just for now, but some more cockroaches are going to crawl out from underneath some stones that have not been unturned. And we'll wait and see what happens. But that was pretty epic, huh?
Yeah, my only issue with it is when you look at the people that got arrested, a lot of them were like middlemen to low, like frontmen. They weren't actually the people at the top. Because a really good article that came out 2 days before these arrests, and I'll link it to you, and we'll link it maybe to everyone else, where it was a massive article talking about the apparent like elite cartel, which is like the 7 masterminds of Australia. They're all living overseas now in different countries. And basically the head of that is this Turkish guy who's been literally number 1 criminal of Australia. I think his name's Hakan something. And he moved to Turkey, and he's got the same first name, but he's changed his second name. And apparently the Age found him or something, like chilling in a hotel with his like bodyguards and stuff. So there's a lot more to the story. And what they're trying to portray, ironically, because I think this is all a media spin, is they actually said in this article about Ironside that it was he himself that spread this app to all his like lower people.
Yeah, right.
So they're like, he basically got them all arrested anyway, because he's like probably gone, look, guys, use this app. It's encrypted. We're all going to be good. And so he himself spread it. So whoever they managed to get to the top, really smart from the FBI. It's crazy.
It's insane. Look, that rounds out what I've seen on the internet, and I thought I'd leave it on a bit of a sharing note because it brings us to the end of the episode, which has been good fun. It's been 2 weeks. We've got to come back more regular. We've got to do it. We've got to do it every week.
People are asking for us every week. People asking, when's the episode? When's it going up? What's going on?
And then either me or you, depending on what day it is, it's like, I just woke up. Yeah, later. But look, let's stay consistent. Let's bring back some entertainment for everyone. We're gonna roll out. Do you have anything you want to tell me before we go off, or tell the listeners?
I was just trying to find a quote which I thought is important in the cold, and it's a very philosophical quote, and if you take it literally, it doesn't make any sense. So therefore, please tell me what you think. It's a quote from our best mate, Aristotle. To appreciate the beauty of a snowflake, it is necessary to stand out in the cold.
Need to wrap my head around that one. So do you want to say that one more time?
To appreciate the beauty of a snowflake, it is necessary to stand out in the cold. And keep in mind, snowflakes are all unique. No snowflake is alike.
Is it kind of saying because you've got to get to the good, you've got to go through some of the challenges?
Yeah, sometimes you need to be putting yourself into a situation that might be uncomfortable for you to fully appreciate a particular situation or something like that.
Okay.
So it kind of reflects the lockdown we've had going into winter. I thought it was
Yeah, so look, it seemed like the most obvious thing to me, but when it comes to Aristotle, I mean, he's a magician, man. That quote could mean a million different things. So I was like, I was going to go in for like just the most obvious thing, but who knows?
Sometimes
like,
that's the best one. That's the best one.
I know. If we Googled it, there's probably like 25 different interpretations or more.
I mean, the literal translation is to actually appreciate a snowflake, literally.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't think that's what it is. So, like, our interpretation actually is more philosophical than the literal one.
Yeah.
So
great.
that's we're at that level.
Yeah.
Some people will go, "Oh yeah, I like snowflakes."
Yeah.
That's still good if it makes you happy.
It's fantastic. And I think we've just shown all the listeners how truly stupid we are ending on the snowflake. Look, take it literally, take it philosophically, but Aristotle was a smart man, and you're a smart listener, or listeners, if you're listening together, for listening to Teddy and Tony on another episode of Everyday Conversations. We'll see you next week.